Good morning students. Today we are going to read the poem A Bird Came Down. It has been penned down by Emily Dickinson. Now Emily Dickinson is a nature poet. She talks about nature in her poetry and she's a very keen observer also. What ordinary people will overlook, she will observe those things and those things become the subject of her poetry. So this particular poem that she has written, A Bird Came Down, is when she was sitting in her garden one day and a bird came flying and it lands in her garden, and she starts observing the little actions of this bird, and later on she writes a poem on the bird. Let us look at the first stanza. A bird came down the walk. He did not know I saw. He bit an angleworm in halves and ate the fellow raw. So as I just explained to you, a bird came down the lawns of Emily Dickinson, and the interesting fact is that the bird doesn't know that someone is observing the bird. And what does the bird do? It is hungry, so it starts looking for food, and it looks at an insect in the garden. So he takes the angleworm and he tears it into halves and ate the insect raw. So we see a very ferocious side of the bird here. It's very violent. It is tearing apart an insect in halves and then eating it. But when we read on the next stanza, we will see a very kind and polite side of the bird, of the same bird. So the bird has different personality. On one side it is ferocious, on the other hand it is polite also. And that leads on to a paradox. Stanza 2. And then he drank a dew from a convenient grass and then hopped sidewise to the wall to let a beetle pass. So after eating the insect, the bird is thirsty now. So he locates that there is some dew on the nearby grass and it drinks the water from there. And then it observes that a little beetle is trying to pass by. So the bird hops sideways in order to give way, in order to give some space to let the beetle pass. So we see a very polite and courteous side of the bird here, and it's a paradox. The bird is ferocious as well as polite at the same time. Stanza 3. He glanced with rapid eyes that hurried all abroad. They looked like frightened beads, I thought. He stirred his velvet head like one in danger, cautious. I offered him a crumb, and he unrolled his feathers and rode him softer home. So now we see that the bird is very scared of human presence and the danger that could be lurking around. So it is moving its eyes very rapidly. And the eyes of the bird has been compared to beads. Why? It's a simile. The figure of speech is simile. And why this reference has been made? Because of the size of the eyes. Just like beads are very small, the eyes of the bird are very small. That's why it has been compared to the beads. And then his head has been explained as velvet head. Why velvet head? Because the texture of velvet is very smooth and soft. Just like that, the head of the bird is also very soft and smooth. That's why it is velvet head. And the bird is very cautious. It's looking very scared. And when the poet offered the bird a crumb to eat, a bread crumb, so the bird did not take it and instead it flew away. It was so scared that it flew away. Now last stanza of the poem. Then oars divide the ocean, too silver for a seam, or butterflies of banks of noon leap splashless as they swim. So now in the last stanza we learned that the bird takes flight from there, from the garden. It does not want the crumb. Now the flight of the bird has been compared to sea and land imagery both. The poet says that the flight of the bird is so smooth that it appears that the bird is as if flying in the ocean, and it has also been compared to the land imagery. It says it seems that a butterfly is swimming splashlessly in the water. So this is the reference that has been made. I hope you enjoyed the poem. Thank you.